My beloved, pause with me for a moment. Let the noise of the world fall away, just for these next few minutes. You are here for a reason, drawn by a sense that something is stirring, something you can't quite name but feel deep in your spirit. If you've been carrying a heaviness, a fog of confusion, or the ache of waiting for a breakthrough that seems just out of reach, know this: you are not alone. There is a reason you found this message right now, at this exact moment in your journey. Tonight, as the clock moves toward midnight, the air itself feels charged with anticipation. There is a holy urgency, a sacred invitation, and it is not by accident that you are hearing these words before the dawn. Archangel Michael, the great protector and champion of divine justice, is reaching out to you with a message that could shift the very atmosphere around you. This is not just another passing encouragement. This is a lifeline, a call to step out of confusion and into clarity, to move from delay into release. You may have felt lost in a maze of questions, wondering why answers seem hidden, why doors have stayed closed, why the promises you've held on to feel delayed. The world can be a place of shadows, where hope flickers and doubts grow loud. But right now, in this sacred pause, you are being invited to step into a different reality, a place where the fog lifts, where the next step becomes visible, where the weight of waiting is exchanged for the lightness of release. Dear one, I sense the ache in your heart, the longing for something to finally shift. You have prayed, you have waited, you have wondered if heaven has heard you. Let me assure you, you are seen, you are known, and you are not forgotten. The confusion you've felt is not a sign of abandonment, but a sign that you are on the edge of something new. The delay is not denial, it is preparation. The very tension you feel is the sign that the atmosphere is about to change. Archangel Michael's message is clear. There is a window opening before tomorrow morning, a moment of divine alignment that is calling your name. This is not about fear or missing out. It is about stepping into the flow of what heaven is releasing right now. The confusion that has clouded your mind is about to give way to clarity. The delays that have frustrated your spirit are about to break open into release. You are being invited to participate in this shift, not as a bystander, but as a beloved child of God, a carrier of hope, a vessel of restoration. Take a deep breath with me. Inhale the possibility of new beginnings. Exhale the weight of confusion and delay. As you listen, let your heart open to the promise that is being spoken over you. This is not just a message to be heard, it is an invitation to be received. There is a sacred promise woven into these words, a promise that if you stay present, if you lean in, you will receive both spiritual insight and a practical step that you can take tonight, before the clock strikes midnight. You may feel the tension between what you see and what you hope for, between the confusion of the present and the clarity that is coming. That tension is holy. It is the space where miracles are born, where faith is forged, where destinies are rewritten. You are standing at the threshold of release, and the invitation is simple: do not turn away. Stay with me. Let your spirit be attentive, your heart expectant. There is a reason Archangel Michael's message comes with urgency, but not with fear. The urgency is a sign of love, a sign that heaven is moving on your behalf, a sign that the time for breakthrough is at hand. The sacred promise is this: if you will pause, if you will listen, if you will open your heart, you will not leave this moment empty-handed. You will receive a word that brings clarity, a step that brings release, and a sense of peace that surpasses understanding. So, dear one, as you prepare to receive, I invite you to make a simple declaration, whisper it, write it, or simply hold it in your heart. I am ready for clarity. I am open to release. I receive the promise of this moment. Let this be your anchor as we journey together. Stay with me, for what comes next will reveal why the struggle has been so intense, and how you are being positioned for a shift that will echo into tomorrow morning and beyond. The next step is not far away. The promise is unfolding even now. Pause for a moment, dear heart, and let yourself feel the truth of this. You are not alone in what you're facing. Even if the world has felt silent, even if your prayers have seemed to echo back unanswered, you are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, seen and unseen, who have walked through valleys just like yours. The ache of isolation, the sting of betrayal, the quiet fear of being overlooked or forgotten, these are not signs that you are unworthy or invisible. They are the marks of a soul that is deeply alive, deeply loved, and deeply called. There are so many right now who are carrying burdens in silence, who wonder if anyone truly sees the battles they fight behind closed doors. Perhaps you've watched others move forward while you remain in the waiting. Maybe you've felt the sharp edge of disappointment, or the cold distance of those you once trusted. If you have ever whispered, "Does anyone see me? Does anyone care?" Know that you are not the only one. Your questions are holy, your longing is sacred, and your story is not an accident. Let me share with you the story of a woman who, not long ago, found herself in a season of deep loneliness. She had poured herself out for others, given her best, and yet found herself standing in the shadows, unseen and uncelebrated. She wondered if her sacrifices mattered, if her tears were noticed by anyone at all. But in the quiet of her room, she sensed a gentle presence, a warmth that wrapped around her like a blanket. It was as if heaven itself was whispering, "You are not forgotten. You are not alone." In that moment, the isolation began to lift, replaced by a sense of divine presence that brought comfort and hope. Or consider the man who felt betrayed by those he trusted most. The pain of broken promises left him questioning his worth, doubting his future. Yet, in the midst of his heartbreak, he discovered a new kind of protection, a shield that didn't come from people, but from the loving arms of God and the watchful care of angels. What felt like abandonment became an invitation to experience a deeper kind of belonging, a reminder that even when people fail us, heaven never does. These stories are not just for someone else, they are for you. The contrast between isolation and presence, between betrayal and protection, is not just a theme, it is the very ground on which your breakthrough is being built. You may feel alone, but you are surrounded. You may feel betrayed, but you are fiercely protected. You may feel overlooked, but you are chosen, handpicked by God for a purpose that cannot be stolen or erased. If you have been waiting for a sign that your struggle matters, let this be it. The very fact that you are here, listening, is evidence that you are seen. Heaven has not turned away from your pain. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over your life, and the love of God is closer than your next breath. You are not abandoned, you are being prepared. You are not invisible, you are being positioned. I invite you now, as a gentle act of self-honesty, to write down one area where you feel stuck or alone. It could be a relationship, a dream deferred, a hope that feels fragile. Name it, even if only to yourself. There is power in bringing what is hidden into the light. This simple step is not just an exercise, it is a declaration that your story matters, that your pain is not wasted, and that you are ready for presence to meet you in the place of isolation. As you write, let your heart be open to the possibility that you are not walking this path alone. There are others, right now, who are taking the same brave step, who are choosing to believe that protection is greater than betrayal, that presence is stronger than isolation. You are part of a tapestry of souls being woven together for such a time as this. Hold this truth close: you are chosen, not abandoned. You are seen, not overlooked. You are protected, not betrayed. And as we move forward, you will begin to see how even the places of deepest struggle can become the very ground where restoration begins. Stay with me, for what comes next will reveal the unseen conflict behind your waiting, and how you are being prepared for a release that is closer than you think. There is a question that lingers in the quiet moments, a question that echoes in the heart of every soul who has waited and wondered, why the delay? Why, after all the prayers, the hope, the effort, do you still feel as if you are standing at a locked door, waiting for it to open? Beloved, if you have found yourself circling the same mountain, facing the same obstacles, or feeling as if invisible hands are holding you back, you are not alone. There is an unseen conflict at work, a spiritual and emotional pattern that often goes unnoticed, yet shapes the very atmosphere of your life. Let's name what so many are afraid to admit. Sometimes, the delay is not about your worth, your faith, or your effort. Sometimes, it is about patterns, old wounds, unhealed betrayals, and spiritual resistance that seeks to keep you from stepping into your promise. Betrayal, in particular, is a pattern that can leave deep marks. It is not always about a single person or event. It is a spiritual wound that can echo through seasons, coloring your expectations and clouding your hope. When you have been betrayed, by circumstances, by people, or even by your own expectations, it can create a cycle of hesitation, a fear of trusting again, or reluctance to believe that good things are truly possible for you. This is the contrast at the heart of your journey: delay versus release, fear versus faith. Delay can feel like a heavy fog, a sense that no matter how hard you try, you are always just out of reach of the breakthrough you long for. It can breed frustration, disappointment, and even self-doubt. But release is the promise on the other side, a sudden lifting, a clarity that comes not from striving, but from surrender. Fear whispers that you are stuck, that nothing will ever change. Faith declares that every delay is a setup for a greater release, that what feels like a setback is often the soil where miracles take root. There are unseen forces at work, spiritual resistance that seeks to keep you bound to old cycles, to keep you questioning your value, to keep you from stepping into the fullness of your calling. These forces thrive in confusion, in the places where betrayal has left you raw and uncertain. But hear this: you are not powerless. The delays you have faced are not punishments, they are invitations to deeper healing, to greater clarity, to a faith that is forged in the fire of waiting. Think back over your journey. Where have you noticed repeated setbacks? Are there patterns that seem to follow you, doors that close just as you are about to step through, relationships that falter when you need them most, opportunities that slip away at the last moment? These are not random. They are signals, invitations to pause and reflect, to ask what these patterns might be teaching you. Sometimes, the greatest breakthroughs come not when we push harder, but when we stop and listen to what the delay is revealing. Take a moment now, dear one. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, where have I seen this pattern before? What is the lesson hidden in the waiting? Is there a place where betrayal has shaped my expectations, where fear has kept me from moving forward? Write it down, if you can. Let the truth come into the light, for what is revealed can be healed. Remember, the delay is not a verdict against you. It is not a sign that you are forgotten or unworthy. It is a sign that something deeper is being worked out in you, a strength, a resilience, a faith that will not be shaken by the storms of life. The unseen conflict is real, but so is the promise of release. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian in this battle, wielding the sword of truth and justice on your behalf. You are not fighting alone. As you reflect, let hope rise within you. The patterns of the past do not have to dictate your future. The cycle of delay can be broken. The fear that has held you back can be replaced by a faith that moves mountains. This is not the end of your story, it is the turning point. The very places where you have felt most blocked are the places where the greatest breakthroughs are about to unfold. Hold on to this truth: every delay is a setup for release. Every setback is a stage for a comeback. Every betrayal is an opportunity for protection and restoration. You are being prepared, not punished. The unseen conflict is real, but so is the victory that is being written over your life. Stay with me, for in the next moments, you will discover how to recognize the signs and confirmations that heaven is sending your way, clues that the season of delay is giving way to a new dawn of release and restoration. There is a language that heaven speaks, beloved, and it is not always the language of words. Sometimes, the answers you seek come as gentle whispers, as subtle signs, as moments of peace that settle over you like a soft blanket. In seasons of waiting and uncertainty, it is easy to feel as if you are chasing after answers, straining to hear something clear. But what if, instead, you are being invited to carry a quiet expectancy, to notice the clues that heaven is already placing along your path? Divine confirmation often arrives in ways that are both mysterious and unmistakable. It may be a dream that lingers in your memory, vivid and stirring, carrying a message that feels too timely to ignore. Perhaps you wake in the night with a sense of reassurance, or you see a repeated number, like 11:55, on the clock, on a receipt, or in a message, and something in your spirit stirs. These are not coincidences, they are heaven's way of saying, I am with you. Pay attention. Something is shifting. Let me share a few stories that may sound familiar to your own journey. There was a woman who, in a season of deep confusion, kept seeing the name Michael everywhere, on street signs, in books, even in passing conversations. At first, she dismissed it as random, but the repetition became impossible to ignore. One night, as she prayed for protection and guidance, she felt a sudden warmth and peace, as if strong arms were wrapping around her. In that moment, she knew Archangel Michael was near, and she was not alone. Another dear soul found herself waking at the same time every night, 11:55 p.m. It was always just before midnight, just before a new day began. At first, it felt like an inconvenience, but soon she realized it was an invitation. Each time she woke, she would pause, breathe, and ask, "What are you trying to show me, Lord?" Over time, she began to notice small shifts in her life, unexpected encouragement, doors opening, a sense of clarity where there had been confusion. The repeated number became a signpost, a reminder that heaven was orchestrating something new. And then there are the simple, tangible signs: a white feather appearing on your path, a sudden fragrance of flowers in a place where none should be, a song that plays at just the right moment. These are the gentle nudges, the reminders that you are seen and loved, that the unseen is breaking into the scene. You do not have to chase after these signs. You are invited to carry an open heart, to notice what is already being placed before you. This is the contrast: chasing versus carrying, seen versus unseen. When you chase after signs, you may miss the quiet ways that heaven is already speaking. But when you carry expectancy, you become attuned to the subtle movements of the Spirit. You begin to notice the patterns, the repetitions, the moments of peace that come out of nowhere. You realize that you are not alone in your journey. Heaven is walking with you, guiding you, confirming that you are on the right path. Tonight, I encourage you to keep a notepad or your phone nearby. Be ready to jot down anything unusual: a dream, a number, a name, a feeling of peace, or even a small object that catches your attention. Don't dismiss what seems insignificant. Sometimes, the smallest sign carries the greatest meaning. If you feel prompted, write down your thoughts or impressions, even if they don't make sense right away. Over time, you may begin to see a pattern, a thread of confirmation that weaves through your days and nights. Within the next 24 hours, be open to the possibility that heaven will send you a sign, a clue that you are not forgotten, that your prayers are being heard, that the season of delay is giving way to release. It may come in a way you least expect, but it will come. Let your heart be at rest, knowing that you do not have to strive or chase. Simply carry the expectancy that you are loved, guided, and protected. As you watch for these clues, remember, the unseen is becoming seen. The answers you seek are closer than you think. Stay with me, for in the next section, we will explore the spiritual framework and authority that stands behind these signs, how Archangel Michael's protection and divine justice are being released over your life, and how you can step into that shield with confidence and hope. There is a reason, beloved, that your spirit is drawn to the name of Michael in this season. In the tapestry of heaven's story, Archangel Michael stands as a radiant figure of strength, justice, and unwavering protection. He is not a distant myth or a symbol of wishful thinking. He is a mighty presence, commissioned by God to defend, to deliver, and to ensure that divine justice is not just a hope, but a reality for those who seek it. When you feel surrounded by fear, when betrayal has left you raw, when the world's shadows seem to press in, Michael's shield is not just a metaphor, it is a living promise. Let's speak plainly. The world is full of moments that tempt you toward fear. Betrayal, disappointment, and injustice can make you question whether you are truly protected, whether the forces arrayed against you are simply too strong. But the spiritual framework you stand in is not built on shifting sand. It is anchored in the authority of heaven, in the unbreakable assignment that God has placed over your life. Michael's shield is the answer to every whisper of fear, every shadow of doubt, every memory of betrayal. It is the declaration that you are not defenseless, not abandoned, not at the mercy of darkness. Archangel Michael's authority is not his own, it is given by the Creator, the one who sees every injustice and promises to set all things right. Michael is called the great prince who stands guard over your people, a warrior who does not retreat, a guardian who does not sleep. When you call on his protection, you are not asking for a favor, you are stepping into a covenant of divine justice. This is the contrast that changes everything: fear versus faith, betrayal versus protection. Fear says, you are alone, exposed, vulnerable. Faith says, you are shielded, surrounded, and fiercely defended. Justice is not a distant hope, it is being released now. There is a shift in the spiritual atmosphere, a movement of heaven's armies on behalf of those who have been wronged, overlooked, or betrayed. If you have felt the sting of injustice, if you have wondered when the scales will tip in your favor, hear this: the time for justice is at hand. Michael's shield is not just for your comfort, it is for your vindication. It is the assurance that no darkness, no scheme, no betrayal can override the assignment God has placed on your life. How does angelic protection work? It is both seen and unseen. Sometimes it is the sudden sense of peace that settles over you when chaos swirls. Sometimes it is the closed door that, in hindsight, saved you from harm. Sometimes it is the inexplicable strength to stand when you should have fallen, the courage to speak when you could have stayed silent. Michael's shield is a spiritual reality, but it manifests in practical ways, through intuition, through timely warnings, through the gentle nudges that keep you on the path of life. Right now, I invite you to participate in this protection. Close your eyes, if you are able, and visualize a shield of radiant light surrounding you. See it shimmering with the colors of heaven: gold, sapphire, pure white. This shield is not fragile, it is forged in the fires of divine justice. It cannot be pierced by accusation, by fear, or by the memory of betrayal. As you breathe in, imagine this shield growing stronger, brighter, more tangible with every breath. As you exhale, release the fear, the doubt, the sense of being unprotected. Let this be your declaration, spoken softly or written down for tomorrow: I am protected. I am guided. I am surrounded by the shield of divine justice. This is your boundary, your spiritual perimeter. When you wake tomorrow, carry this script with you. If you feel the old fears rising, if you sense the shadows of betrayal, speak these words aloud. Let them be your anchor, your reminder that you are not at the mercy of circumstance. No darkness can override your divine assignment. No betrayal can cancel your calling. The authority that stands behind you is greater than any force that stands against you. Michael's shield is not just a promise for the future, it is a present reality, available to you in every moment of need. You are not just surviving, you are being defended, vindicated, and restored. As you rest in this truth, let faith rise within you. The days of fear are giving way to days of faith. The wounds of betrayal are being healed by the balm of protection. The scales of justice are tipping in your favor, not because of your striving, but because of heaven's decree. You are shielded, you are chosen, you are safe. Stay with me, for in the next section, we will walk the path from delay to release, discovering the practical and spiritual steps that will move you from waiting to breakthrough, from confusion to clarity, from longing to fulfillment. The shield is in place. Now it is time to step forward. There is a moment, dear one, when the tide begins to turn, when what has felt like endless waiting suddenly gives way to movement, when confusion is replaced by clarity, and when the sense of scarcity is transformed into the promise of overflow. This is the reversal path, the sacred journey from delay to release. It is not a mystery reserved for a chosen few. It is a process that you are invited to step into, right here, right now. The shift does not happen by accident. It unfolds through intention, through faith, and through the willingness to take even the smallest step forward. Let's begin with the first step: recognize the pattern. So often, delay lingers because we have not yet seen the invisible threads that keep us bound. Patterns of self-doubt, cycles of fear, habits of hesitation, these can become so familiar that we mistake them for reality. But when you pause and look honestly at your journey, you may begin to see the places where confusion has crept in, where old wounds have shaped your expectations, where scarcity has whispered that there is never enough. Recognition is not about blame, it is about awakening. It is the moment you say, I see it now. I see where I have been circling, where I have been waiting, where I have been hoping for change but not sure how to begin. Take a breath and ask yourself, where have I noticed the same delay repeating? Is there a place in my life where confusion seems to reign, where clarity feels just out of reach? Write it down, if you can. Let the truth come into the light, for what is named can be changed. This is the first act of faith, the willingness to see, to acknowledge, to bring what is hidden into the open. The second step is to invite divine intervention. You are not meant to walk this path alone. The journey from delay to release is not powered by your effort alone, but by the partnership between your heart and heaven's help. This is where you call upon the presence of God, the guidance of Archangel Michael, and the wisdom of the Holy Spirit. It is as simple and as profound as a whispered prayer: God, I invite you into this place of delay. Archangel Michael, I welcome your protection and your justice. Holy Spirit, bring clarity where there has been confusion, and release where there has been waiting. When you invite the divine into your process, you shift the atmosphere. You move from striving to surrender, from chasing to carrying, from scarcity to the beginning of overflow. Pause for a moment and let this invitation rise from your heart. You may feel a sense of peace, a gentle warmth, or even a sudden idea or memory that brings new understanding. Trust that heaven responds to your invitation, that you are not calling into an empty sky but into a living, loving presence that is eager to move on your behalf. The third step is to take one grounded action. Spiritual shifts are powerful, but they are made real through practical steps. This is where you move from intention to embodiment, from hope to action. It does not have to be dramatic, it simply needs to be sincere. Perhaps you choose to declutter a space in your home, making room for new energy and new blessings. Maybe you send a message of forgiveness or gratitude, breaking the cycle of silence or resentment. Or you might journal a prayer, putting your hopes and fears into words and releasing them to God. Each small action is a declaration: I am ready for release. I am stepping out of delay and into the flow of what is next. Tomorrow morning, as the new day dawns, choose one small action as a sign of your faith. Let it be a seed planted in the soil of your life, a tangible marker that you are moving forward. If you feel led, speak this declaration as you act. I am moving from confusion to clarity, from scarcity to overflow, from delay to release. Let your action be both a prayer and a promise, a way of aligning your life with the breakthrough that is already on its way. This is the reversal path. Recognize the pattern, invite divine intervention, and take one grounded action. It is a journey from the fog of confusion into the light of clarity, from the ache of waiting into the joy of release. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You are not destined to circle the same mountain forever. The shift begins with a single step, and that step is yours to take. As you walk this path, remember that you are not alone. Heaven is cheering you on, and the shield of Michael goes before you. The days of delay are numbered, and the promise of release is closer than you think. Stay with me, for in the next section, we will activate this shift together through rituals and declarations, words and prayers that will anchor your faith and open the way for the new season that is dawning. There is a sacred power, beloved, in the words you speak and the rituals you choose. In moments of transition, when you are moving from delay to release, from confusion to clarity, your voice becomes an instrument of faith, and your participation becomes a signal to heaven that you are ready for change. Tonight, as you stand on the threshold of a new season, let us activate the shift together through simple, powerful declarations and gentle rituals that invite the presence of God and the protection of Archangel Michael into your life. Let's begin by acknowledging the contrast that so often defines this journey: fear versus faith, isolation versus presence. Fear tells you that you are alone, that your words are empty, that nothing will change. But faith declares that you are surrounded, that your voice matters, and that heaven is listening. Isolation tries to convince you that your prayers are lost in the void, but presence reminds you that every whisper, every declaration, is heard and honored by the one who holds your future. Take a deep breath with me now. Feel the air fill your lungs, and as you exhale, let go of the tension, the worry, the sense of being alone. You are not alone. You are part of a great company of souls who are choosing faith over fear, presence over isolation, hope over despair. In this moment, you are connected to something greater than yourself, a divine current that is moving you forward. Now, I invite you to participate in a simple ritual. If you are able, place your hand over your heart or lift your hands in a gesture of openness. Speak these words aloud, or whisper them softly, or simply let them echo in your spirit. Archangel Michael, I receive your protection and justice now. God of heaven, I welcome your presence into every place of delay and confusion. I declare that I am moving from fear to faith, from isolation to divine presence. I am ready for release. I am ready for clarity. I am ready for overflow. If you feel led, type Amen or I receive in the comments below, or write these words in your journal as a sign of your agreement. There is power in participation, in making your faith visible, in joining your voice with others who are believing for the same breakthrough. You are not just speaking into the air, you are aligning your heart with the promises of God and the protection of His angels. As you prepare for rest tonight, I encourage you to create your own short declaration. It can be as simple or as personal as you wish. Perhaps you want to say, I am protected. I am guided. I am not alone. Or maybe your heart needs to declare, I release fear. I embrace faith. I welcome the new season. Write it down on a piece of paper, speak it aloud before you sleep, or hold it in your heart as you drift into rest. This is your act of faith, your invitation for heaven to move on your behalf. Remember, beloved, that rituals and declarations are not about magic words or empty repetition. They are about aligning your spirit with truth, about choosing faith over fear, about stepping out of isolation and into the presence that is always available to you. Every time you declare, every time you participate, you are building a bridge from where you are to where you are called to be. Let this be your anchor tonight. You are not alone, you are not forgotten, and you are not powerless. The shift is already in motion. As you declare, as you participate, as you rest, trust that heaven is working behind the scenes, orchestrating the release and restoration you have been waiting for. Stay with me, for in the next section, we will look at the timelines and checkpoints, how to watch for the shift in the coming hours and days, and how to mark the moments when heaven's promises begin to unfold in your life. The journey continues, and your participation is opening the way. There is a holy anticipation in the air, dear one, as you step into this next phase of your journey. When you have been waiting, longing, and praying, it is natural to wonder, when will I see the evidence of change? How will I know that the shift has truly begun? Heaven's movements are often subtle at first, but they are real, and they unfold in ways that invite you to watch, to listen, and to participate with expectancy rather than anxiety. This is not about chasing after signs or forcing outcomes. It is about carrying a quiet confidence that what has been delayed is now being released, and that your story is entering a new chapter. Let's look together at the sacred checkpoints that mark the unfolding of breakthrough. Within the next 24 hours, be attentive to the small shifts, perhaps a sudden sense of peace, a dream that lingers with unusual clarity, or a conversation that brings unexpected encouragement. Sometimes, the first sign is simply a lifting of heaviness, a gentle assurance that you are not alone. This is the beginning of release, the first ripple in the waters of your life. As you move into the next 3 days, watch for patterns of clarity emerging where there was confusion. You may notice answers coming more easily, obstacles beginning to move, or a sense of direction returning to places that felt uncertain. This is the contrast at work, delayed giving way to release, chasing replaced by carrying. Instead of striving to make things happen, you find yourself receiving what you need, often in ways you could not have orchestrated on your own. By the 7-day mark, pay attention to the tangible changes, doors opening, relationships shifting, opportunities presenting themselves, or even a renewed sense of hope and energy. Sometimes, the breakthrough is external, a message arrives, a need is met, a long-awaited answer comes. Other times, the shift is internal, you feel lighter, more confident, more at peace with the process. Both are signs that the season of waiting is turning into a season of fulfillment. Within 14 days, look back and notice the cumulative effect of these shifts. What once felt impossible may now seem within reach. The patterns of delay that once held you back may have loosened their grip. You may find that you are no longer chasing after signs, but carrying a steady assurance that you are aligned with heaven's timing. This is the overflow that comes when you trust the process, when you mark the moments, and when you celebrate even the smallest victories along the way. To make this journey tangible, I encourage you to set a reminder for yourself at each of these checkpoints: 24 hours, 3 days, 7 days, and 14 days from now. When the reminder goes off, pause and reflect. What has shifted? What signs or confirmations have you noticed? Take a few moments to journal your thoughts, record a voice note, or simply sit in quiet gratitude for the movement you are experiencing. This practice is not about measuring your worth or forcing results. It is about honoring the process, noticing the evidence of release, and giving thanks for every step forward. Remember, beloved, that the journey from delay to release is not always linear. There may be moments when you feel the old patterns trying to return, or when the signs seem faint. Do not be discouraged. The act of watching, of marking the checkpoints, is itself a declaration of faith, a way of saying, I believe that heaven is moving, even when I cannot see it all at once. You are not chasing after what is already yours. You are carrying the promise, nurturing it, and allowing it to unfold in its perfect time. As you move through these timelines, let your heart remain open and your spirit expectant. Celebrate the small shifts, honor the process, and trust that what has begun will be completed. The days of delay are ending, and the days of release are here. Stay with me, for in the next section, we will explore how to walk in discernment and set healthy boundaries as you move forward, ensuring that your breakthrough is protected and your heart remains anchored in faith, not fear. The journey continues, and every day brings you closer to the fullness of what has been promised. It's natural, dear one, to feel a swirl of questions as you walk this path of faith. Perhaps you've wondered, what if nothing happens? Or, how do I know this is real and not just wishful thinking? These are honest questions, born from the tension between fear and faith, confusion and clarity. You are not alone in asking them. Discernment is not about shutting down your doubts, but about learning to listen with wisdom, to separate the voice of fear from the gentle guidance of faith. Discernment begins with honesty. It's okay to acknowledge your skepticism, your longing for proof, your desire for something tangible. Faith is not blind, it is attentive. It pays attention to the subtle shifts, the quiet confirmations, the peace that settles in your spirit even when circumstances haven't changed yet. If you find yourself doubting, pause and ask, is this fear speaking, or is this faith inviting me to trust? Confusion often comes when we try to force answers or chase after signs, but clarity grows when we rest in the assurance that we are guided, even when the path is not fully visible. Healthy boundaries are essential as you move forward. Not every voice deserves your attention, and not every burden is yours to carry. As you open yourself to spiritual guidance, remember that discernment also means protecting your heart and mind from fear-based thinking or magical expectations. You are not required to believe every message, every sign, or every feeling. Instead, you are invited to test what you receive, to hold it up to the light of peace, love, and wisdom. If something brings anxiety or confusion, it is not from the heart of God. If it brings peace, hope, and gentle encouragement, it is worth holding on to. As you step into tomorrow, I invite you to practice a simple boundary script. When you feel overwhelmed by doubts, fears, or the expectations of others, speak these words aloud or in your heart: I choose peace. I release what is not mine to carry. I trust that what is meant for me will find me in perfect time. This declaration is not just a shield against negativity. It is a way of anchoring yourself in faith, of choosing clarity over confusion, and of reminding yourself that you are not responsible for making everything happen by your own strength. Remember, beloved, that discernment is a journey. You will grow in wisdom as you continue to walk, to listen, and to trust. It is okay to have questions. It is okay to move slowly. What matters is that you keep your heart open, your boundaries strong, and your faith anchored in the one who guides you with love and truth. As we move toward the final steps of this journey, hold on to the assurance that you are not alone, that you are protected, and that every question is an invitation to deeper clarity. In the next section, we will bring this journey to a gentle close, inviting you to step fully into restoration and to share your hope with others who are walking this path beside you. Beloved, as we come to this sacred pause, let your heart rest in the assurance that restoration and justice are already in motion for you. Every prayer, every declaration, every small act of faith has been a seed sown into the soil of your future. You are not waiting in vain. The shift from scarcity to overflow, from isolation to presence, is not just a distant hope, it is a living reality that is unfolding even now, often in ways you cannot yet see. Imagine, for a moment, what life looks like on the other side of this shift. Picture yourself waking with a sense of peace, no longer weighed down by the old patterns of delay or confusion. See yourself surrounded by support, by signs of divine presence, by opportunities that flow to you with ease. Where there was once a sense of lack, now there is abundance, of hope, of love, of provision. Where you once felt alone, now you are connected, both to heaven and to a community of others who are walking this path with you. This is the promise of restoration, not just the return of what was lost, but the multiplication of what is good. Justice is not only about righting wrongs, but about releasing you into a season where you carry more than enough, more clarity, more joy, more purpose. You are stepping out of the shadows of scarcity and into the light of overflow. You are moving from the ache of isolation into the warmth of presence, both divine and human. Your participation in this journey has power. Every time you chose faith over fear, every time you wrote down a hope or spoke a declaration, you partnered with heaven's movement. Restoration is not a passive gift, it is a dance between your willingness and God's faithfulness. Continue to journal your experiences, to mark the signs and confirmations, to take practical steps that align with your prayers. Let your trust be active, your hope expectant, your heart open to the new things that are being released. As we close, I invite you to share your sign, your prayer, or your hope in the comments below. Your words may be the encouragement someone else needs to keep believing, to keep watching, to keep moving forward. You are not alone in this. Your story is part of a greater tapestry, woven together with countless others who are stepping into restoration alongside you. Let this be your gentle declaration as you move forward. I am stepping into restoration. I am moving from scarcity to overflow, from isolation to presence. I trust that justice and abundance are being released in my life. Hold this vision close, and let it guide your steps in the days to come. The journey does not end here. Continue to watch, to listen, to participate. Restoration is not just a promise for tomorrow, it is a reality that begins with every faithful step you take today.